Hello, everybody. This is the People's News today, and what I have to say to you is lucha por quince. Do you know what that means? What that means is it means they're fighting for $15. Yes, we're talking about the minimum wage, guys, that has been stuck since 2009 at the same level it is right now. And it's funny that the wage increases overwhelmingly. It's overwhelmingly popular with voters, including the Republicans, actually. And the higher minimum wage, this would actually reduce poverty, and it would also reduce inequality and stimulate the economic growth. But there's no downside for employment, little to no downside for employment. But the thing here is with the Democrats in control of the House and Congress, a minimum wage hike, it seemed very inevitable. But even though it seemed inevitable, despite all the upsides of that increase, Congress still hasn't given workers a raise. Why? Well, this is because it's seemingly simple why that a very popular minimum wage increase is always going to be an uphill fight. And that's because there are these businesses that employ low-wage workers, and they want to keep those wages low. So they have this considerable power. Considerable power, but what? That's the power to shape congressional priorities. That's what they have. And unfortunately, for the American workers who would actually benefit from this minimum wage increase, they do not have that power. They don't have the ability to exercise that political influence. So they have very little political influence, these hardworking minimum wage workers. And this herein lies a problem, guys. So the power imbalance is why we still don't have any action on this minimum wage. Okay? But it's not over yet. There's still a small window for this to happen still. And it's got to happen fast. That window is closing very quickly. And we all know that these elections, 2022, are coming up for one of the Chamber of Commerce. And if the Republicans gain control, then we're going to have problems. The American workers are going to have trouble getting this much needed raise if that happens, if the Republicans gain control. So, and as you know, talking about minimum wage and stimulus packages, the fourth stimulus package we have coming out, as we know, there's nothing about minimum wage in there. There's nothing about checks. Everybody wants more checks. We know that. Senator Bernie Sanders, he wants more checks. There's Democratic senators, they also want more checks. But as we know, that's not in this fourth stimulus package. As far as we know, there is some stuff on Medicare in there and making the Medicare better with vision and dental and hearing aids for people that have Medicare. But these packages, especially the fourth stimulus package that coming out, $3.5 trillion, that package is more than likely going to be processed through the reconciliation process. And interesting, we hear and we say reconciliation process, but not many of us know, well, what is the reconciliation process? Well, I'm here to tell you that and explain to you what exactly is that process, okay? So pretty much from the diagram, the chart diagram that I have, the flow chart, it is a circle, okay? I'll tell you. It starts off with the House Senate Budget Committee. It starts off there, and a budget resolution happens there with reconciliation instructions. From there, guys, it moves on, guess who? The full House / the Senate, right? Okay, but what happens there goes right back to another committee, which is the Budget Committee. And the full House Senate, what they do is they basically amend or not, and this is passed out of the House or Senate at that point. Okay, so if it doesn't pass out, it stays there. Okay, if it goes passed out, it gets passed on to the Budget Conference Committee, right? So, and what happens here in this Budget Conference Committee is the differences in budget resolutions are ironed out. Because this is a budget we're looking at here, and they're trying to pass a resolve for it, solve this problem of what's on that budget. Okay, and okay, well, let's say it's ironed out, and the Budget Committee passes that on to the full House and Senate. Where we go? Goes right back to the full House and Senate, just like I told you. It's like a little circle, okay? And it let's say it passes congressional budget resolution and then sends instructions to the committee. Well, there we go. It goes back to a committee again. But this time, this goes two ways. It goes to a single committee and it goes off to the right to Ways and Means, Energy and Commerce, and Agriculture. So all those different committees, it goes through them. Okay, and then they recommend policies. Each of those recommend policies that are supposed to save money, okay, according to the instructions that are in this budget, and on both sides. So, and then what happens from that point? Well, from the single committee side, it goes to the full House and Senate, right back around like that circle, like I told you. And it goes to the Budget Committee and then back to the full House and Senate. So the full House and Senate is receiving both the single committee and it's receiving Ways, Means, Energy and Commerce, Agriculture, Budget Committee from the other side. So once it gets to there, this is the last time it sees the full House and Senate. So each body considers the reconciliation to be on the fast track, with restricts limits to times and amendments and a 50-vote threshold in the Senate. So of course, you know, there is the 50 Democratic senators in there, and it has to go through them, and they have to all vote for it. So it goes through them, it gets voted on, and then it goes to resolve differences if needed, if there's any in there between the senators, those 50 Democratic senators. And then if there's not, it goes to the president's desk. That's the end. There's a reconciliation process. So that's what those Democrats are doing, you know, when they're going to sign this $3.5 trillion package. And that's how they're going to get signed. Unlike, of course, we know the bipartisan, which is $600 billion bipartisan, is not going to go through the reconciliation process. That is going to have to be done through bipartisan, which they are going to, the Republicans are probably, it's looking likely that's not going to happen that. So the bipartisan is probably not going to happen, but for sure the $3.5 trillion package, that is more than likely going to happen because it's a reconciliation process. So that is something positive. Like I said before, guys, there's, as far as we know, there's no checks in there. There's no word of a stimulus check being in there. But, you know, I know everybody's looking forward to that. But if for some reason in the future there was a stimulus check, we're looking at two ways that can happen. Okay, it's either going to happen through a $2,000 check, one lump sum, $2,000, and that's it. Or what they're going to do is they're going to go the other way, and they're going to have monthly payments, but of a much lesser value than the $2,000. And now Bernie Sanders, we know, is an advocate of this, and there's other Democratic senators that are advocates of this. And we also know, like I mentioned before, there is a petition online, change.org, that has been signed by over 2.6 million people, and it's gaining power as we go, as we talk right now, as we speak. It's gaining power, and it's on its way to become the most signed petition, the petition that's most signed by has been signed by the most people on change.org. So hopefully all those things go into play will get you guys another check. But you know what my question to you guys is, and I'd like you to leave in the comments section. What do you think? Do you think that this petition on change.org is actually going to make a difference? Do you think it's going to make a difference in getting you guys more stimulus checks? Okay. And do you think it's still possible for stimulus check to be input into that $3.5 trillion package? You think that might happen? And do you think that, like I mentioned before, Medicare, that Joe Biden will extend the child tax credit, because that was in the prior package? Do you think that he's going to extend that child tax credit for 4 years, or it's going to be indefinite? Please let me know in the comment section what you think about that. And please watch, like, and subscribe my video. I appreciate that. And give me suggestions about video you guys want in the future. I'll be more than happy to do those for you. So thank you very much. God bless, and have a beautiful day and night.